my friend Barrett pops up. Hadn't seen a post from Barrett in a minute. But I know Barrett takes breaks. So Barrett had posted that Mike Jeffries, former CEO of Abercrombie, is having a trafficking investigation from the FBI. Yeah, honey, up the street from where they investigating it. I said, Barrett. Now, I know something that me and Barrett have in common is that we both talk about all of the victimization and bedroom victimization because we have been victimized in actual ways, both of us. And we advocate for that. But anyway, I never knew who Barrett had been victimized by. But I'm thinking, oh Lord, Barrett, friend, is you involved? Then Barrett started posting court docs. Barrett said that it is Mike Jeffries, Matthew Smith, and Jim Jacobson. Jim Jacobson is also known as Jim J, Mrs. Cook, Mrs. 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 Cook. Sounds like it's some cross-dressing going on. Honey and Todd, aka all of them. Honey. Mike Jeffries. Girl, we thought you had just had bad feelings, but honey, not you. Is under investigaciones. So I turn on the news. And it looks like it's real. All the reportable stations is talking about Abercrombie, honey. I said, no, not Abercrombie. Not the brand that had all the homoerotic ads with no clothes, but they were supposed to be selling clothes. Not Abercrombie when we as children was telling y'all that, it was looking very Playgirl. No, it was looking very bathhouse. It was looking very Rehoboth Beach. Very Fire Island. Honey. They were selling clothes like this. This is how they were selling clothes. Now keep in mind they was making sweaters and cardigans and polo shirts. You ain't seen nobody in the shirt yet, is you? That was the whole stint while Mike Jeffries was there. I think they must have found Mike Jeffries at Hustler or something. Ciao. So you know what I had to do, honey. I had to check for the press release.
We're here today to announce the arrest and charging of 3 defendants. Former CEO of Abercrombie and Fitch, Michael Jeffries, Matthew Smith, and James Jacobson, on charges of sex trafficking and engaging in interstate prostitution. Powerful individuals for too long have trafficked and abused for their own sexual pleasure young people with few resources and a dream of securing a successful career in fashion or entertainment. To anyone who thinks they can exploit and coerce others by using the so-called casting couch system, this case should serve as a warning. Prepare to trade that couch for a bed in federal prison. The message from today's prosecution is clear. Sexually exploiting vulnerable human beings is a crime, and doing so by dangling dreams of a future in fashion or modeling or any other business is no different. My office and our law enforcement partners will always prioritize standing up for victims, no matter their gender and no matter how powerful the wrongdoers think they are. We will hold them to account. As we allege in the indictment, between 1992 and 2014, Michael Jeffries was the chief executive officer of Abercrombie and Fitch. Abercrombie was a widely known clothing retailer with stores around the world. Aspiring fashion models knew that a place on one of Abercrombie's iconic ads could be the ticket to success in the modeling industry. But while Jeffries was the CEO of one of the most recognizable clothing retailers in the world, he was using his power, his wealth, and his influence to traffic men for his own sexual pleasure and that of his romantic partner, Matthew Smith. The charging documents describe in graphic and disturbing detail the violent and exploitive acts these defendants perpetrated, for which they will now face justice in a court here in the Eastern District of New York. So here's what's alleged in the indictment. Jeffries and Smith employed James Jacobson to act as a recruiter to find men. Jacobson engaged in, quote, tryouts with men across the world where he would typically pay them to engage in sex acts with him. Following the tryouts with Jacobson, Smith would often then personally approve whether the men who were selected would meet Jeffries and Smith. The defendants would fly the selected men to Jeffries and Smith's homes in the Hamptons in New York City or to hotels around the world in such places as England, France, Italy, Morocco, and St. Bart's for the purpose of attending events to engage in commercial sex. But beyond simply hiring men for sex, Jeffries, Smith, and Jacobson used force, fraud, and coercion to traffic those men for their own sexual gratification. For example, as alleged, the defendants employed a referral system and an interview process that did not inform the men of the details of the sex events before they attended, including the full extent and nature of the sexual activity that would be required of the men at these events. They caused the men to believe that attending these sex events could yield modeling opportunities with Abercrombie or otherwise benefit their careers. Smith and Jeffries employed a secret staff to operate these sex events. The staff ensured that the men signed non-disclosure agreements and handed over their personal items, such as their phones, before the start of the events to maintain the secrecy of these events. The defendants caused the men to believe that not complying with requests for certain acts, sex acts, during the events could harm their careers. The defendants pressured the men to consume alcohol, Viagra, and muscle relaxants known as poppers during the sex events. And they required the presence of staff during the sexual activity and ensured that the men did not leave the sex events until Jeffries and Smith decided that the sessions were over. Also, as alleged, on more than one occasion, Jeffries and Smith either directed others to inject or personally injected men with an erection-inducing substance for the purpose of causing the men to engage in sex acts the men were incapable of engaging in or unwilling to engage in. Additionally, the indictment alleges on more than one occasion when men did not or could not consent, Jeffries and Smith violated the bodily integrity of these men by subjecting them or continuing to subject them to invasive sexual and violent contact by body parts and other objects. As alleged in the indictment, Jeffries, Smith, and Jacobson didn't just carry this activity on for a couple of occasions. Their sex trafficking and prostitution enterprise lasted at least from the end of 2008 until early 2015. During that period, the defendants hired dozens of men and transported them to New York and around the globe They spent millions of dollars on a massive infrastructure to support this operation and maintain its secrecy. This included hundreds of thousands of dollars of cash for commercial sex, prolific amounts of money for staff to run the sex events, money for domestic travel, international travel, hotel rooms, services from a security company, and Jacobson's salary, among other things. Now, this investigation remains ongoing. Although there are 15 John Does identified as victims in this indictment, this interstate prostitution venture encompassed dozens and dozens of men. And I encourage anyone with information about this case, including anyone who was a victim of the defendant's alleged crimes, to contact the FBI. 1-800-CALL-FBI. Now, I want to thank the victims.
Yes, we want to thank the victims for coming out, honey. That is a lot to process, ain't it? Well, let's break it down. Let's break it down real quick. You got Mike Jeffries. This was him around that time. This was him in the 2000s. Late 2000s. See how them the clothes that they sell. You ain't see none of them clothes on the model, did you? You got Mike Jeffries, who was the CEO at the time, a friend of Epstein, a friend of Trump. They all hang in those same billionaire circles. So when Abercrombie needed a rebrand, when they needed to make Abercrombie young, they brought in Mike Jeffries. This was him. And honey, this was them going to jail. This was him. This was Matthew Smith. This is the only picture I've been able to find online of Matthew Smith, and you know my Inspector Gadget. Honey, this is all we've been able to find of Matthew Smith. Apparently he is Mike's long-term lover. British. Honey, they want him to be Diddy. They want him to stay Diddy'd in jail. They say he's a flight risk because he is a UK citizen. Matthew Smith, you done got caught in the wrong country. This is James Jacobson, Mrs. Cook, Todd. They're all the same person. They're all the same person. Yeah, with this green thing on their nose, apparently they done had bad plastic surgery. Honey, I don't know why this had to be edited out. I have no idea what James could have been doing, what Jim could have been doing in this picture. Do you? Yep, apparently it was surge gone wrong. Yeah, John Jacob, Jingleheimer, Schmidt, everybody under. Yep, he looked like somebody who would pay for tricks, doesn't he? Well, Jim was paying for the trick. Jim was tricking off, and then depending on the escort, depending on who he came across, then it was given, oh, I'm going to pass you along to Mike and Matt. And if Mike and Matt likes him, then, honey, they would take him around the world, honey. Everywhere from the Philippines to Shanghai to Morocco. Now, Morocco really gagged me. I got a couple questions about this case. And one is Morocco, because ain't y'all a Muslim country? And didn't I get into it with a Muslim man on TikTok because they said that you can be gay as long as you don't interact with gay people, and I said that was foolishness. So, you in this Muslim country, Morocco, I know that they're not paying for gay tricks. And gay, I know they're not paying for pipe and poom poom over there. Well, it ain't poom poom, just one poom. If it's gay, man, ain't it right? Honey, Jim, John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt, Jim, Mrs. Cook. But yeah, apparently if Mike likes them, then he would dangle a modeling career with Abercrombie over their head for them to do acts. You know, and of course some of the people was just escorts. They probably wasn't interested in a modeling career, but I couldn't imagine why escort wouldn't be interested in a modeling career. But yeah, sometimes they was models. Yeah, and talent and things like that, and you know, found Mike in a professional way. You know, found Mike through trying to audition or you know, do a walk in or do a go see or whatever. Honey, Mike had him around the world. Mike had him around the world, honey. One of the accusers is saying that they are testing positive, HIV positive, because of these parties. They contract the HIV during one of the Abercrombie parties. What we gonna call these? The Abercrombie parties or the Mrs. Cook parties? Yeah, yeah, yeah. But you want to know what's funny? Just a few years ago, two photographers were accused by 15 male models. Mm. 15. Remember that was the number in the Abercrombie. And coincidentally, I find a popular photo of Mike Jeffries and this photographer at an event, supporting each other. Mike only took pictures with two people this night, and neither one of them was Matthew, his partner, but one of them was this photographer who's also been accused by 15 male models. Something tells me that these cases is going to end up conflating. They're going to end up coming together. Ooh, child. Y'all know Channing Tatum used to be a model for Abercrombie. They said that was his big break. He's one of the many, because quite a couple of fellas, they say, got their big break with Abercrombie, or they say really blew up and became stars with Abercrombie. Honey. Yeah. Yeah. Where are the clothes that Channing is supposed to be selling? When y'all find them, can you please tell me? Because right now, all I see is tighty whities. That ain't tight in one picture. But I think that's done on purpose. Yeah. Channing, how did you get your start? You know, because just like we was talking about Ricky Martin, living La Vida Loca, you know, if the people who were on the fringes of making it, if the B-list celebrities and the C-list celebrities are the ones that had to go through the trials and tribulations, what did the A-list have to go through? I think a lot of them feel like they had too much to lose to speak out about it. And when I say too much to lose, just meaning their image. They don't want people to think of them or view them in a certain way. That's just my psychoanalysis, but what do I know? Nothing, right? Honey, shout out to my friend Barrett Paul.
The farther you go, the better this will be for you. I remember thinking, like, I don't want to do anything with any of these people. But if I have to pick someone to do something with, like, I can maybe put on a show with one of the other men who were brought in for the sexual experience. And so he performed oral sex on me. Mike Jeffries and Matthew Smith watched and then encouraged us to come over to the bed next to Mike Jeffries and kiss him. Did I want to kiss Mike Jeffries? No. Did I? Yes. Did I want to have some stranger suck my dick? No. Did I? Yes. I think part of me disassociated. So yeah, I didn't say no. But I fucking didn't say yes either.
Baby, honey, I tell y'all my motto. Because when it comes to bedroom crimes and adult crimes, I think they're going to expand the gamut. Now, because we're so much more connected with the internet, I think that they're going to continue to expand these crimes and create laws that protect independent contractors such as celebrities and entertainers. Yeah, so moral of the story: don't eat where you shit. Don't date people at work. Don't have sexual interactions with people that you work with professionally. Nope, it's just like loaning money to family. It's not going to end well. Nope. Mm-mm. And I have a feeling that these red shorts, or that this color red, or that these red bottoms that the fellas have on are gonna somehow come back into the headlines. Just a prediction. No, just a prediction. What do I know? Yes, honey. Child, but I ain't been checking for Abercrombie for a long time. Abercrombie was already on the block list for me in the 2000s. No shade, because we already knew that they didn't like to use black models. Yeah. Abercrombie's rebranding now. They trying to rebrand. I think y'all should go ahead and shut it down, honey. If y'all want her to last, y'all gonna have to change the name or something. Because it's going to be curtains after this. Mike Jeffries is cooked. He's assaulted white men. Cisgender white men. Y'all about to see some nasty work.